studied the structure of human brain, which divides into three parts. So these three parts, that is forebrain, second is midbrain, and third is hindbrain. But in today's lecture, I am going to discuss only the cerebrum, that is main part of our brain. So forebrain is the first part, which includes three parts, that is olfactory lobe, second cerebrum, and third is diencephalon. These are the three parts of forebrain. Olfactory lobe, which is also known as rhinencephalon. Cerebrum is called telencephalon. We already studied this. Then this olfactory lobe, which is smaller and reduced in human being. Olfactory lobe in human being is smaller in size. These are paired structure and it is covered by cerebrum. It is very small and reduced in human. It is visible on ventral side like this. And these olfactory lobes shows olfactory bulb and olfactory peduncle. These are the two regions, but these are very small regions and reduced part in human brain, and hence in human the sense of smell is poor as compared to other animals. In some animals, if the olfactory lobes are well developed, then the sense of smell is very acute. So olfactory lobes are concerned with sense of smell. It gives sense of smell. So this is the first part of forebrain. It is also known as rhinencephalon, and it is reduced and concerned with sense of smell. So second part, which is a major part of brain, that is cerebrum, which is also called as telencephalon. So cerebrum is the largest part of our brain and it occupies or forms 85% area of total human brain, and it divides into 4 lobes. So this is a human brain or cerebrum of human brain. It is the largest part of human brain and it forms 85% of area. It shows 3 sulci, or the outer region forms these convolutions called as gyri, and the depressions are called sulci. So these are the gyri and sulci which are formed on the outer part of brain. These are gyri and sulci. Then this brain or cerebrum, which divides into 2 equal parts by deep ridges or furrows, called as cerebral hemispheres. So right cerebral hemisphere and left cerebral hemispheres. These are 2 equal parts of cerebrum, and these 2 equal parts of cerebrum shows 2 equal parts called as cerebral hemispheres. These cerebral hemispheres, which is right cerebral hemisphere and left cerebral hemisphere, which connects internally, connected by thick nerve fibers, which is made up of myelinated nerve fibers called as corpus callosum, and it is a characteristic feature of mammalian brain. Corpus callosum, it is a thick band of nerve fibers by which these 2 cerebral hemispheres internally connects together, called as corpus callosum. So this is the important mammalian character of brain. Then this gyri and sulci, which divides brain into 4 lobes. This is central sulcus, this is lateral sulcus, and this is parieto-occipital sulcus. Due to these 3 different sulci, brain divides into 4 lobes. First is frontal lobe, second is parietal lobe, third is temporal lobe, and fourth is occipital lobe. We already studied these different lobes of cerebrum in last lecture. So these 3 sulci which divides brain into 4 lobes. Then here there is a small part which remains inside. These 3 sulci does not connect with each other. जे पूर्ण अशा कनेक्ट नाही झालेला तर थोडा गॅप आहे इथं. This gap which is formed inside the brain or middle part of the brain is forms fifth lobe. Fifth lobe called as insula or insular cortex. But this part is invisible and it is present in this or near this lateral lobe or in middle lobe. Then this outer part of brain which is called as cerebral cortex. Outer part of brain is called as cerebral cortex, while this middle part is called cerebral medulla. So cortex and medulla, these are the 2 regions of brain. Then this cortex which is made up of millions of neurons, and these neurons shows presence of cyton and dendrites which are present in the outer surface or outer area, that is cortex area, and hence these are gray, appears gray, that is called as gray matter. The outer part of brain or cerebral cortex is made up of cytons and dendrites which is without myelin, and due to which it appears gray, that is formed by gray matter. Cerebral cortex is formed by gray matter, while the inner medulla, this cerebral medulla is inner part of cerebrum which contains axons, millions of axons of neurons, and the axons are always made up of myelinated nerve fibers or medullated sheath, and due to this medullated sheath this area appears white and hence it is formed by white matter. So cortex is made up of gray matter, whereas the medulla is made up of white matter, and the gyri and sulci which divides the brain or cerebrum into 4 lobes, 4 major lobes. Then I am going to talk about the important areas called as functional areas of cerebrum, which is very important in cerebrum because the cerebrum occupies or forms 85% of the area of total brain, and hence this is important part, cerebrum. This cerebrum shows different functional areas which are located in these 4 lobes. So functional areas of cerebrum. So first, the area which is present in frontal lobe or located into the frontal lobe. Frontal lobe, it shows 4 different areas. First area here, it is called premotor area. This area is called premotor area. Then here it shows motor area. Second area in frontal lobe is motor area. Then here the association area. This area is called association area. There are 3 different types of area present in cerebrum, that is sensory area which receives some sense, then motor area which shows movements, whereas association area means it is neither sensory nor motor, it shows mix, that is mixing of both these activities called as association area. It mainly concerned with intelligence, thought, memory, analysis, etc. Then in this frontal area there is Broca's area. This area is called Broca's area. The Broca's area, which is also called as speech area or motor speech area. Motor speech area. Then second lobe is parietal lobe. In this parietal lobe, there is somasthetic area. This area is called somasthetic area, which is also called sensory area, as it gives the sense of different sensations like pain, temperature, pressure, as well as it includes taste, sense of taste, hence also called gustatory area. This area is called gustatory area. Then in the temporal lobe, third lobe is temporal lobe. In the temporal lobe, there is two main areas which is concerned with hearing. This area is called auditory area, which is concerned with hearing, and second is this is olfactory area, concerned with olfactory area, concerned with sense of smell. Then last lobe, fourth lobe, is called occipital lobe. Occipital lobe. This occipital lobe shows visual area. It shows visual area, which is concerned with sense of vision or sense of sight. So I again repeat these areas, the functional areas of cerebrum. The areas which are located into this frontal lobe, these are 4 in number. The first area is premotor area. The premotor area is concerned with all voluntary and involuntary activities like intelligence, thought, memory, etc. The motor area is concerned with voluntary movements. It controls different voluntary movements of our body. Then association area. This area is concerned with mixed processes, again that is analysis, thinking, etc. Then this area is Broca's area. Broca's area is also called as motor speech area because it gives or it receives sense of speech, that is actual movements of speaking takes place with help of tongue, jaws and vocal cords. This process takes place or comes under the Broca's area. As it shows the movement of speaking, it is called as motor. Motor means related with movements. So Broca's area is also called as motor speech area and it is located into the frontal lobe. Next lobe is parietal lobe. In this parietal lobe, this area is called somasthetic area and it also consists gustatory area. These areas are concerned with sense of temperature, pressure, pain, etc. as well as it gives sense of taste called as gustatory area. Then in this temporal lobe, there are two main areas, that is olfactory area which is concerned with sense of smell, while as the auditory area which is concerned with sense of hearing. Then last lobe is occipital lobe which shows visual area and it gives the sense of vision. Instead of these areas, there is one more important area which is neither located in parietal lobe or in temporal lobe, but it is present at the junction of these two lobes called as Wernicke's area. This area is called Wernicke's area or it is also known as sensory speech area because it receives the sense, that is a understanding of speaking or writing, any process which is understood by this area, that is gives the sense of understanding and hence called sensory speech area. Wernicke's area is sensory speech area, while as Broca's area is motor speech area. Both these parts involved in speaking, but it gives sense of speaking or understanding what is going to talk or writing. These sense, different sense or analyzing of these sense are takes place or carried out by Wernicke's area, while as actual movement which takes place with help of tongue or vocal cords or lips, it takes place by Broca's area. So these are the different functional areas which carries important role in different voluntary and involuntary movements of our body. So cerebrum is major part of our brain and it shows outer cortex. So this outer cortex which forms a roof, this roof is called as pallium. While as some part of this grey matter forms the basal nuclei here into the white matter, and these basal nuclei forms floor of cerebrum which is called as corpus striatum. It is also involved into the analyzing or the different processes of cerebrum. So let's see the functions of cerebrum. Cerebrum is the largest part of our brain. It forms 85% of area and it controls the major activities of our body, that is voluntary processes of our body, as well as it is a seat of intelligence, thought, memory, perceiving of different sensations like taste, then vision, smell, hearing. These are the different functions of cerebrum. It also analyzes the different activities or it perceives the different sense and shows the different movements. So the cerebrum shows three types of area. Sensory area which receives sense, that is sense of touch, sense of pain, sense of pressure, etc. Motor area means these are involved in specific movements. The movements like talking or speaking which takes place by Broca's area. Then the sensory area which is olfactory area, auditory area, it comes under sensory area which gives the sense of smell and hearing, sense of smell, taste, sense of vision, etc. These are the two areas which gives sense and shows movements. But the third area which is called as association area, this area is neither sensory nor motor, but it perceives some impulses and take actions like analyze something or intelligence or thought, memory, activities. These are done by this association area, mixing of both these areas, sensation and movements. That is called as association area. So the cerebrum is made up of these three different types of areas. Then in this cerebrum there is these two cerebral hemispheres connected together by corpus callosum, and it shows some spaces or the cavities inside these hemispheres called as ventricles. These ventricles here, these ventricles secretes or contains choroid plexus which is formed by blood vessels and ependymal cells which secretes cerebrospinal fluid. So we just see the structure of corpus callosum again here. The corpus callosum is like this. It is a band of nerve fibers made up of myelinated nerve fiber and forms curved C-shaped structure or band of nerve fibers called as corpus callosum. It shows anterior part called as genu and posterior part called as splenium. So this is all about cerebrum. Cerebrum is major part of forebrain or human brain. Forebrain consists first part, that is olfactory lobes, second part is cerebrum, and in next lecture we will study the diencephalon. It is also a major part of the brain. So third part is the diencephalon which we will study in next lecture. So this is only about functional areas of cerebrum. It is important part as cerebrum controls voluntary as well as some involuntary movements of our body, thought, memory. These are also different sites which are present into this frontal lobe. So here we study only the cerebrum of human brain.